Greetings, cultivators worldwide. Jordan River here, back with more GrowCast, hot off the presses and high and clean. Today, Hygrozyme is on the line. That's right. We have two amazing people, Leanne and Doug, from Team Hygrozyme. You know and love Hygrozyme, a classic staple in our community. They're here to talk about how their product is formulated, why enzymes are important, and the soil food web in general, as well as home grower tips, mistakes, things like that. It's a dope episode with a really cool, long-standing company. A couple of great guests. I know you're going to love today's show. Before we jump into it, though, shout out to AC Infinity. ACinfinity.com. Code GrowCast15 to get your savings and keep the lights on here at GrowCast. We appreciate your support, and we love AC Infinity. They make the best grow tents around, extra thick poles. They've got nice, durable, thick siding. Now they have the new side ports. People have been asking for those, and AC Infinity, listen. Plus, they've got everything else you need to grow. They've got lights and pots and fans and their oscillating fans, the Cloud Ray system. Check out their humidifiers, the Cloud Forge. How nice is your humidifier? Maybe it's time to replace that. The Cloud Rays are my favorite oscillators on the market. And of course, their Cloud Line series, what they got it all started with. All those years ago when we were partners with AC Infinity, all they made were those inline fans, and they're the best in the game. So shout out to the entire AC Infinity suite. They've got everything you need to get growing, from fans to tents to lights. Code GrowCast15 works at ACinfinity.com. You support us, and you're getting some badass, durable grow gear while you're doing it. So thank you to all you listeners using code GrowCast15, and thank you to AC Infinity. All right, let's get to it with Team Hygrozyme. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the show. Hello, podcast listeners. You are now listening to GrowCast. I'm your host, Jordan River, and I want to thank you for tuning in again today. Before we get started, as always, I urge you to share this show, send this link to a grower you know, or turn someone on to growing for the first time. It's the best way that you can help us at GrowCast and our mission of overgrow. See everything we're doing at growcastpodcast.com. You'll find membership there. You'll find seeds and classes and everything. Thank you to the supporting members. I really appreciate you out there. Today we have not only one brand new guest, but two brand new guests on the line. Very excited to speak to the developers and the people behind a product that I've been fond of for a long time. From Team Hygrozyme and Sipco, we have Leanne and Doug on the line. What's up, Leanne and Doug? How are you doing?
Hey, doing good, thanks.
Hey, Jordan, doing well. Thanks very much.
Yes, thank you guys for coming on the show. I'm very excited to have on brands that I consider to be real staples in the cannabis industry. Hygrozyme, you've been around for a long time. You make a great product. I feel like you guys were on the enzyme train kind of before a lot of people, at least in my limited scope of the cannabis agriculture sector. So I'm very excited to have you on and to speak to my audience of largely home growers and professional growers who would love to hear about all the science and history behind Hygrozyme and Sipco. So maybe firstly, can we start with what kind of brought you to the Hygrozyme team, the inception of Sipco, and what your scope of involvement is each?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can give a little bit of an introduction on the company itself. So Sipco was founded in 1974. And originally, when they first started out, we were focused more on industrial products, cleaning products, more chemical based. And then when our current CEO came on board, it is a family owned company. So she took over from her father. And when she came on board, she really saw a trend about 15 years ago towards green products, environmentally friendly, sustainability. And she really pushed that forward for the company. So that was kind of how the inception of the Hygrozyme product came to be. And yeah, we started there about 15 years ago. And since then,
Wow.
We've launched 3 other products and have become quite a big name in the industry, like you mentioned. So yeah, it's been quite the journey.
That is really cool. What about you, Doug? Where do you play into the team Hygrozyme?
Yeah, so I've been here with the company for about 3 years. So my background is actually I have a background in chemistry, and I have dive into biology, analytical chemistry, all different science. So prior to Sipco, I was with another company more in the traditional agriculture industry, really making sustainable, what we call biopesticides. So I was there for over 6 years developing product. We launched 2 organic armory product in the US. And then, and I have the opportunity to join the team here back in 2021.
That is so cool. You were working on organic biopesticides, the development of those pesticides?
The development of those pesticides, we launched 2 of those products in the US. Yeah.
Wow. That is very cool, man. So you're like, you're Spock. You're the chief science officer.
Wow. It's not all me. It's all a team. I have a good supporting team down there in the, in R&D. We have we have a formulation scientist, as well as we have a biologist that's helping us doing the testing and things like that. And then we work with the external collaborators, university extension and things like that to get everything, done on our products. Make sure we test everything from product chemistry as well as to the efficacies.
He's being humble. He blows my mind every day.
That is so cool. I'm really excited. I gotta say, I'm really excited to have you 2 on.
Thank you.
This is exactly what my audience loves to hear. So let's start from the beginning, though. Hygrozyme, the flagship product. How was it originally discovered? And what can you tell us about what it does to plants and what it does to cannabis specifically?
Yeah. So Hygrozyme, like I said, it was launched about 15 years ago. I mean, I personally have only been with the company about 3 years, just about the same as Doug. So how that initial formulation came to be, I don't know that we have
the exact secret
details on. It's a secret.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, overall, like, we as a company, we really wanted to launch something new, something exciting, and something environmentally friendly. So we were actually the first enzyme-based product kind of launched into the cannabis market. And at that time, we had another just great team full of scientists and R&D individuals that came up with the formulation. So that's kind of how it came to be. And in terms of what it does, I think I'll turn it over to Doug.
Yeah, I mean, there's no secret that, our Hygrozyme contains enzyme, and those are on the product label. So what it does is, it contains the main enzyme there is cellulase, right? Mm-hmm. And so what it does is actually really help to clean the root zones. So what happens is in the roots, you have these root hairs that's constantly falling from the main roots. And then if you leave those alone, your root zones could get very dirty, and it's going to promote pathogen formation, less nutrient absorption and things like that. So, and those root hairs are predominantly composed of cellulose. So, and then in order to kind of degrade those cellulose, you need a very specific enzymes, in this particular case, cellulase. And so not only does cellulase decompose the cellulose, but it decomposes it into simple sugar. Mm-hmm. So that in essence provides additional nutrients to the plants as well too. So it's a good preventative way of preventing any disease formations.
Yeah, it's really great for preventing root rot, especially if you're growing in like a hydroponic medium, DWC, or anything like that, where, water is the medium. So of course, root rot is going to be a really high risk. And not only that, but like Doug said, that formulation of simple sugars from the breakdown of the cellulose can also result in increased yield potential as well.
Yeah.
Yes, right. You add it and then suddenly your plant's growing a little more vigorously. And it's because of the enzymes breaking down that leftover organic material and making it available in the form of simple sugars. That's amazing. So cellulase, this specific enzyme, are there other enzymes in there that you've also identified and kind of isolated like that?
There are 3 other enzymes in there as well too, and those kind of also help as well too, because cellulase, there are different type of cellulase, what you call cellulose is a polymer, so there are enzymes that can clip the end of the polymer, and there are enzymes that can clip the middle of the polymer per se. So there are 3 additional enzymes on the label for Hygrozyme. So we have a total of 4 enzymes in there.
Yeah, the other 3 are xylanase, glucanase, and hemicellulase.
Yeah.
Wow. And they all do specific things is what you're saying when it comes to
splitting
molecules and cleaving this and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and a nice way to visualize enzymes and how they work is basically to picture them like a lock and key. So the substrate or the material that you're trying to break down, that would be your lock. So in our case of Hygrozyme, the lock is that dead root matter, the cellulose, and then the key is the enzyme. It's that cellulase. So each enzyme kind of is their own key that fits into a certain lock.
Yes, absolutely. And that's also my understanding of enzymes is they have these very specific tasks and things that in nature can take, decades for natural weathering to occur. Enzymes can really speed up that breakdown process exponentially.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Enzymes are very specific, as Leanne mentioned. So they help to really speed up any process. And in this particular case, chemical process.
So I don't want you guys to give away the secret sauce or anything like that, but tell me about, is there any hints you can give to me as far as the creation of this? Because my understanding is that like enzymes are often created by microbes, right? So when you do like fermentations and there's a lot of microbiology in there, there's a lot of enzyme reactions taking place. Again, don't give anything away proprietary, but what can you tell us about how this product is like formulated and produced?
Well, I mean, obviously there are those enzymes in there, but there are also other ingredients in there that would kind of help make the formulation stay stable over time. So we're going to make sure that the formulation is stable in terms of, because it is a water-based formulation. So you want to make sure that it's stable, preventing mold, yeast, and all that kind of formation, right? So our product has a shelf life of a minimum of at least 2 years for all the product, and no difference for Hygrozyme. And in terms of the enzymes, you're right. Most of the enzymes are produced by fungal and bacteria, and then they are able to isolate them in, develop, I would say, a commercial scale, isolate them in large quantity. And that's how most of the enzymes are produced naturally. And these enzymes are used not only in, say, in the agriculture industry, but also used in animal feeds as well as in other industry as well, too.
Right. I've heard that. That's wild. Super wild stuff. What other ingredients are in Hygrozyme? Is there humic acid in there?
Secret sauce.
Secret sauce. Okay, yeah. Secret sauce. I got you. Because I can tell there's other stuff going on. Because you take a look at some other enzyme products and they look different. There's other stuff in your product. And I think that might be one of the reasons why people see results from it is that secret sauce. So let's talk about that, right? You can add this to any setup, the Hygrozyme. I've been telling people this at least, right? Yeah. It's not just keeping the hydro grow clean. You throw that in your living soil, you're going to see benefits too. You recommend it to all growers?
Absolutely. Yeah. All growers, all mediums. There's nothing that you can't use it with. And regardless of what medium you're using, whether it be rock wool, cocoa, soil, living soil, it's going to add benefits for sure.
So I would love to... First of all, we need to cover all of your products, and we need to get into High Shield, which is a chitosan delivery system.
Yeah.
Again, guys, Hygrozyme is not a partner. We are interviewing them just here on this introductory episode because I love these products, and there's a lot to learn about how these products incorporate into your garden. But let's actually just start right there. How do your products synergize with Hygrozyme? So you add this Hygrozyme and you've got this enzyme delivery in it, and it cleans your root system very, very well. What's the next step in your product line?
The next step, the second product that we came out with was High Shield. Like you said, it's a chitosan-based product. And basically, like our entire product line and what we've tried to focus on and why they all work so well together, as well as with other nutrient and other product programs, is they're all very environmentally friendly. They're all compatible pretty much across the board with other products. And basically, the product line as a whole, we're just focused on giving you increased quality, increased yield, and they're not necessarily fertilizers, but they help enrich your soil and create just a healthier plant overall.
They're doing all the other stuff. It's all the other goodies, it seems like an enzyme delivery. It seems also really focused around the rhizosphere, keeping it clean, breaking down necrotic tissue, providing these like hormone elicitors like chitosan.
Yes.
Can you speak on that? Like chitosan and why you see results from applying this very specific compound?
Well, I mean, chitosan, as you know, and probably most of your audience know, it's natural, safe, cheap polymer derived from chitin, right? So chitin is the major constituent of, say, the crustacean shells and things like that.
Sure.
It's the second most abundant renewable carbon source after cellulose.
Whoa!
Right?
It's crustacean shells.
Mhm.
Yeah. So basically, we it's recycled from the otherwise they'd be thrown away anyway,
Yes.
right? So we recycle from that, and then how chitosan work is that the way I kind of envision it is that kind of it's like an immune booster, like your flu shot in a way. Kind of our solutions is we'll try to be proactive as opposed to reactive to any problem you may foresee. So these are proactive solutions. So if you use it, you're likely going to suffer less of disease that you may see. That whether that will be things like powdery mildew or root rots, as Leanne mentioned, things like that.
And even pest pressure, I understand there's
Yes.
studies on as far as like insect pressure, to be specific. That chitosan, kind of being like a little bit of an antagonist to trigger the immune response, kind of like you're saying, right? Insects themselves are made of that chitin. So if you're just kind of applying it to the roots, is it eliciting hormones? Is that what's happening?
It is. It kind of almost in a way trick the plant's immune system that there's a pest or pathogen attack.
Mhm.
So basically it sets them in a really alert stage that in preparation for attack.
Wow.
Basically, yeah, it'll activate the immune system because the plant cell walls have receptors for chitosan. So they read it as a pest or that the plant is being attacked, which kind of primes that autoimmune response within the plant. So like Doug said, if you do have any environmental stress that's introduced, like heat stress, cold stress, like you mentioned, Jordan, pest stress,
Yeah.
the plant knows how to react and is primed for that response. So the negative effects of that stress are going to be a lot less.
Okay, so that makes perfect sense. And high shield,
Mhm.
chosen obviously for the protective kind of metaphor there. Is there anything
Yeah.
else in there? Is this just it looks like just a clean gel product.
It is. I mean, it because it's a polymer. So it can also, when you apply it in the root, it can also have a little bit of benefit with your nutrient because it's almost act as a little bit of a chelating too, right? So it helps the root in terms of your nutrient efficiency as well too.
Wow.
And another benefit of chitosan is it's all like it has a physical effect.
Yeah.
So it forms these little specks kind of on your, say if you spray it, it forms these little invisible speck on your leaf. So what that does is kind of alter the leaf surface. So your spore of any pathogen is going to have a harder time adhere to the leaf. So less infections.
Oh, foliar spraying chitosan is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. We recommend using High Shield as a foliar spray while you're in the veg stage.
Yeah.
A lot of growers won't want to spray during flower. I mean, if that's your jam, you certainly can continue. But if not, you can switch to a drench at that flower stage, but you'll get the full benefits of the product by doing the foliar spray in veg and then continuing on with a drench once you're in flower.
Wow, that is fascinating. I think I had heard that before, but I had forgotten.
Yeah.
That's right. Foliar spraying the chitosan and the kind of, like you said, crystalline structures that it puts on your leaf surfaces.
Not only that, but you'll also see a little bit of a thicker stalk as well from using the High Shield, which can support a heavier, bigger canopy, as well as we've gotten a lot of great feedback about the resin production from using High Shield as well, especially after curing. We've had a lot of people get just really thick amber-laden terpene residue.
I mean, that makes sense, right? Because a lot of the production that we're looking for, trichome production, cannabinoid production, terpene production, these compounds are directly tied to the immune system of the plant.
Yeah.
So getting that chitosan delivery and from multiple sources, I'd imagine. Like I'd imagine that this High Shield is like mainlining it. But getting that chitosan from all sorts of sources is going to be a good idea for your plants. All the expressions we care about, like I said, all the trichome, all the fun trichome goodies are going to
Exactly.
increase. So that's a pretty interesting thought. Now, when it comes to these products, do you have anything that you could share with us that we might not know about Hygrozyme or High Shield or any of your line? What's like a fun fact that we may not have heard about?
We have a few, yeah. I mean, I would say for Hygrozyme, a lot of people don't know that you can actually use it for cloning as well. So you can actually soak your rock wool or your cloning material in the Hygrozyme solution. And what that will do is basically jumpstart your plant's root zone. So you're going to start right off the bat with really strong root production and really healthy roots. And right away, you'll see those root productions form a lot quicker and a lot stronger.
I like that. I like that a lot. So use Hygrozyme as a root dip. That's a good tip.
I have another one for High Clean as well. We haven't talked about High Clean quite yet.
Let's go there. Let's go there right now. High Clean. This is funny. We were just talking about this off air because cleaning products, generally you're taking a look at an acid. And if it's not an acid, it might be an enzyme, kind of like your Hygrozyme. But you said that High Clean is neither an acid nor an enzyme.
That's correct. Yeah. So the active ingredient in High Clean is actually a proprietary chelating agent. And basically what it does is it bonds with the heavy metal and salt ions that are in your irrigation lines, in your products that you're using, in the medium of the plant. So basically it will bind with those, and Doug, jump in if I'm getting something wrong, but it binds with those ions and chelates with them and makes them more soluble so that it's easier to push them through the lines and push them through the media.
I mean, when you feed the nutrient, all the nutrient are basically salts and ions, right? And so it gets heavy, and with this plant, it gets heavy dose of that. So over time, your line gets built up or that. If you don't keep your lines nice and clean, you're going to encourage biofilm formation. So if you can actually remove some of the build up of salt and mineral, that's going to help a lot, going a long way. So we have, we have two main use for that. One was what we call like a maintenance use. So you can use that while you're growing at a specific dose on the label. And that is 1 mil per gallon. And so that will help you keep the line nice and clean while you're growing. And then in between grow, if you haven't cleaned your line for a long time, you want to, if you're starting to get plug and whatnot, you want to do what we call a deep clean. And then in that particular case, you use a much larger dose, around 2 mil or even a little bit higher. And we leave it in the line. We encourage you get the best result if you kind of soak it for about 24 hours or so. And then of course afterwards you flush your line with water, get it nice and clean, and you're good to go for the next growth cycle.
That is fascinating. So what you're telling me is, you have these salts and irons, like you said, and all this stuff that builds up in your lines. You throw in an acid and to react and cleave and kind of clean that out. But those are a lot of times harmful to the environment and stuff. Like, where does that go afterwards? Or you throw in an enzyme to kind of break down this or that. But what you're saying is you throw in a chelating agent, which is in a solution, which grabs onto those sodium and iron and everything and the chemical salts, right? The salt chains, and then is then in the solution and is washed out. I never thought of a chelating agent as a cleaner before. That's an important distinction.
Yeah, and the benefit of us, as Leanne, mentioned, we use all sustainable, natural type of ingredient in all products. So that in this particular case, the chelating is it's biodegradable. So then eventually just degrades once it gets out to the environment. And we also have a lot of these product, High Clean, for example, we have a nice test to demonstrate that, what we call the hard water test. Yeah. So we have a kit, can demonstrate the hard water. Really, we made the hard waters like cloudy essentially. Mm-hmm. And then by adding a couple of drops of High Clean and then just stir it around a bit. And then within a minute or so, the solution goes nice and clear.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You can see those videos on our YouTube as well as our Instagram page as well if you take a look there. It's pretty cool to watch it in action.
Yes, that's great. That's a test we can do at home. So you'd recommend this for somebody with really hard water?
Not only that, I mean, if you do have hard water, it is really great for that. Even if you're using RO water or like a filtered water of some kind, If you're using like heavy salt-based nutrients, those can cloud the water and clog up your lines pretty quickly. So
Right.
it can help with that as well. And what I was going to say for my tips.
Oh yeah.
on high
Yeah. The fun fact. Yeah. Sorry. I'm smoking over here.
Fun fact.
Almost forgot.
Okay, I'm bringing you back.
Yeah, totally.
You can also use it as a bit of an equipment cleaner. You can also use it as an equipment cleaner. So you can soak your shears in it. You can soak your trays in it. I've had people actually have really good results with using like a clothing steamer like you have at home and putting high clean and water in there and using that to clean the walls of their tents.
Interesting.
So there's a bunch of really creative uses that people have come up with.
Keep it clean, not just clean in the root zone, but using it as an actual cleaner. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That is cool.
And another benefit of high clean, some people may or may use, this is kind of, there's two camps, this is always, there's two camps to this. Some people believe in at the end of the growth cycle to flush the plant, some people just flush with water, right? But we have some people using high clean actually as a flush at the end, and it's amazing result. So, at the end, typically people want to flush it, get rid of all the excess nutrients so they get a nice, clean bud at the end, right? Mm-hmm. And this one grower, he was using water to flush it, but it would take him like tremendous amount of water to do it. But if he actually uses high clean, it's just 1 or 2 flush, and then his EC measure is like down right to 0. So it also has a benefit in that particular case. If you want to use a flush to remove all the excess nutrient at the end before the last, week or 2.
See, that's why we need to have brands like yours on the show to talk about these products, honestly, because when I take a look at a bottle of clean, I'm thinking that it's like, like I said, one of these acids or something that's just made for cleaning lines. No, this is an all natural, microbe friendly, earth friendly chelating agent. Mm-hmm. That's totally different than what I had originally thought. And like you said, that would make sense that it would work well for a flush right before harvest.
Yeah.
Wild stuff, man. I just want to quickly go on a bit of a personal note.
Yeah.
It seems like working in biopesticides before this, have you had a passion for organic, sustainable, earth-friendly agricultural science? Is that kind of your niche? And furthermore, were you ever in the other side? Were you in normal pesticides first, or how does that work? Tell me a little bit about your past.
I mean, the company that I work for, we were always in sustainable agriculture, and also too, right? Just knowing, there's a lot of information nowadays you can get from, obviously from the web. And personally, when I look at things like the chemical spray on, fruits, flour and things, I go, geez, all there's residue and things like that. Right. So I'm always a big proponent of using natural solution for any particular, issues, like whether that's pests or whether that's just to help the plants going better, right? I mean, I can mention, in a previous company that I worked for, the main ingredient we used was actually neem oil.
Yeah, there's a lot of progress to be made to replace these harmful chemical alternatives
for sure,
with compounds that we can derive from nature.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, we're still a long way from there, but I think we're making good progress. I mean, even there are a lot of people, farmer that is out there using synthetic, but they are actually, they're open to using, some biopesticide as part of their treatment, because with synthetic, don't forget that if you keep applying it, you can only apply synthetic probably 2 or 3 applications per season. Because what happens if you continue applying them, they're gonna suffer resistance. So you have to rotate. You also have to rotate different. You might have a product, one product. You can't apply that one product throughout the growth cycle. You have to keep rotating it.
Yes.
The nice thing about biopesticides is that because they're natural ingredient, they have many modes of action. So then it's a lot harder for the pathogens or the insect to get resistant to that because they can act in different modes, right? Whereas in synthetic pesticide, it's only one mode of mechanism of action.
That's so true. One chemical toxin that they can develop a genetic resistance to.
Yeah.
Versus another living thing, or literally like a suffocant or something that breaks them down, something they can't readily adapt to over the course of one generation, say. That's very, very cool. And it's the same with the enzyme, right? The enzyme is kind of the same
Exactly.
mentality. If you go with these synthetic fertilizers, they're not sustainable over and over because of long-term buildup, right? But if you can bring in some enzymes to break them down, chelating agents to flush them out and do it responsibly, I think that's the way to go. That's cool how you guys have positioned yourselves. Because like you said, you're not switching nutrient lines, throw this in your living soil bed or mix it in your DWC. It's a good way that you've positioned yourself.
Thank you. Yeah.
Should we talk about the new product? You want to move on to the big announcement?
Yeah, absolutely.
Drum roll, please. Hygrozyme is coming out with a new product. This is why we wanted to bring them on the show, because I saw this product and I was like, hey, why don't we speak to these guys? You guys have been around for longer than we have. So we've got the High Clean, we've got the High Shield, we've got the Hygrozyme. I think I've got my mind wrapped around all of those. Now you say, why not throw in some beneficial bacteria?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about Hygroben.
Yeah, so Hygroben, like you said, it's our newest product. It is already launched in the US as of June of this year, and it will be coming to Canada very soon, potentially.
February around there also, yeah.
Yeah, in the new year, it'll be launched into Canada. It is available for sampling, so you may have tried it already, and you'll start seeing it in the stores in the US. And what that product is, it's a beneficial microbe. Like you said, it has 5 strains or 5 species of bacillus bacteria. And it was specifically formulated to work very well and synergistically with Hygrozyme. So for many years, we've always recommended using Hygrozyme with a beneficial microbe because the enzymes feed those microbes and create a really nice synergistic effect. So finally, we decided, why not make our own? Why not put ours out there? And that's what we've done. And there's been really, really impressive results that we've gotten from our trials and feedback from people that have tried it already. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah. And another term that's commonly used for these type of product is called biofertilizers. So they actually, while they themselves are not fertilizer, what they actually do is actually help improve the fertilizer efficiency. Right? In this particular case, like for Hygroben, it increases the nutrient availability through nitrogen fixation, phosphate solubilization, and cytophore production. So cytophore essentially is a natural chelator that these bacteria produces.
Oh, is that right? Because I know that microbes are responsible for that chelation, right? Is that the one or one of the specific chelating enzymes? What was it called? Cytophore?
Yeah, that's one of the chelator that they produce. There are many, but that's one of them. Yeah, they produce a whole bunch of different chelator, and that's how they really benefit. Like in terms in this particular case, it helps to solubilize iron, right? It can chelate iron quite well because iron often is very difficult for the plants to absorb.
Right. That is so cool. I didn't know the specific name of that enzyme. I'm locking that one away in the brain. So you say that these work synergistically, and when you say that the enzymes feed the bacteria, is that referring back to what you said, the enzymes breaking down organic material into simple sugars, which microbes love and kind of start buzzing for?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's 100% right. They also work really well together. I mean, you can tank feed them in like a drench type of situation. They also work really, really well together in like a compost tea. If you're into that, if you're doing the organic living soil and you're making up some compost teas, adding those two together will really make your tea foam up nice and strong, and just create like a really nice boost for your plants.
And that makes a lot of sense, exciting those microbes and providing those extra sugars, not through pouring on sugars, which is another option, but through adding an enzyme, which breaks down that material you need to get rid of anyways and cycle through anyways. Very cool. I'm getting a kind of full spectrum picture of this. Is there anything else you want to expound on, either of you, on like how they all play well together? This idea of like bacteria, added enzymes, immunoresponse stimulators, hormone elicitors. What are some other ways that they play well scientifically?
I mean, I think, for us, really the root zone plays a really critical part, right? So having the rhizosphere, the root zone, having all these intricate different organisms and enzymes that's how really nature does it, right? In the soil, right? When you have a healthy system, and you got to have a healthy plant. And so all this is and these particular bacillus species that Leanne mentioned, they're natural. They're natural to the environment, right? And so we're just taking them and put it for use in, say, in indoor use or even outdoor use as well too, right?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of applications. Why is Hygrozyme what you would recommend to a cannabis grower? And to expound on that, you don't have to bring up any companies in particular, but do you look at other brands or other products and go, oh, that's not very potent, or oh, that's the wrong blend? Like, what makes Hygrozyme superior?
Well, I mean, we've done some study, and as you say, we're not going to mention any names or companies or products. We've done some testing with other product, and I have to say our product is most superior. We have the data to back it up.
Yeah.
Leanne can speak a little bit more. We show that it actually increases yield, the combinations, as well as terpene productions and things like that, and even cannabinoids.
Yeah, I think in terms of data, like off the top of my head, and again, all of this information is available on our website and on our Instagram. But by using the two products together, Hygrozyme and Hygrozyme, we found that you can increase your yield up to a potential of 30%, your cannabinoids up to a total of 20%, and terpenes up to, 35%, Doug?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, it depends on the specific terpenes that are in your strain, the specific strain itself. But overall, I think we've tested on at least 2 separate strains, and we've seen really, really great results on both. So, I mean, in terms of why pick our product over something else, I think the proof is in the results.
And these data are not necessarily we don't do a trial, this particular trial. We didn't do it here ourselves because we didn't want to bias, obviously.
Exactly.
So this was done by an independent third-party contractor that did the trial, and everything that they had was basically it was blank. They didn't know it was blinded, so they didn't know what the product was.
Oh, interesting. I would love to see that. Like, we should go over that on Growcast TV. I would absolutely love to see those data points, even if it is just a few. That shit interests me. I love to learn about that.
And obviously, those data points that Leanne mentioned, those are the critical one. But it also has some really good, I think, growth parameter, things like that, increased diameters of the stalk, and flower width, and things like that, internode distance. And there are a lot of the positive, I would say, growth parameter that obviously we didn't mention, because obviously at the end, people. The other one that Leanne mentioned are more important in terms of the outcomes.
Let's be real. People care about yield, and they care about their cannabinoids.
Exactly.
Terps, yeah, totally. Does it stink more? Does it weigh more?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yes. Does it hit a little harder? I mean, listen, that's the holy grail, right? But I think that you guys have, like you said, the proof is in the pudding. You guys have been around for a long time. You make a product that people really like. Adding additional enzymes and now bacteria and chelating agents and all these other things to your garden is a good idea, no matter how you get them in. You guys have packaged them up into nice, shelf-stable, highly formulated forms. That's really, really cool. I'm excited to try the Hygrozyme. Maybe we could slide some of those samples to the members. That would be nice.
Oh, yeah. Leanne, thank you.
I think I have some on the way for you, Jordan.
Oh, what?
But definitely, I will double check after this. If they're not on the way, they will be shortly. And I mean, for your listeners as well, we do have a sample program, both for personal use and commercial use.
Whoa. You know what you're getting into? You know what you're getting into right here? You have a sample program?
I do.
A very good sample program here at the team. So, yeah.
All right. Where do we send the people?
I knew that was coming. So yeah, you can reach out to us on Instagram. Our main page is at Hygrozyme. You can reach out to me directly at Hygrozyme_Leanne. That's LEANNE. And yeah, we will set you up. We'll do individual samples, send them out of all the products, give people a chance to give them a try before they really have to commit to anything. And like I said, we're very confident in our products. We're confident in the quality, and we're pretty confident that if you try it, you will see the results and you'll really enjoy them. So,
wow, that's nuts. I did not expect that. Thank you, Leanne. That's amazing. And people are going to take you up on that one.
I'm going to have 22,000 sample requests coming in.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe not that high. So I love that attitude, though, because you need to do that to survive in the cannabis world. Like I'm not going to just invest in a gallon of your product. To have that sample method is so important because cannabis growers are picky, and adding something to our regimen is kind of a big deal. And it's cool because your product is really accessible. Like you can add it to any setup, give them a sample, they'll try it and they'll like it, So I think that's the way to do it. And we'll definitely take you up on that. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Do you love Growcast? Well, if so, you will love Growcast membership. That's right. Our little club, the Order of Cultivation, is waiting to take you in with open arms and make sure that you succeed harvest after harvest. Just go to growcastpodcast.com/membership. It'll bring you right there. We will take care of any of your garden problems. It's like insurance for your grow. Plus, you get hundreds of hours of bonus content, hundreds of member-only discounts, and exclusive new benefits that are dropping soon, like PDF resources and short member video. There's going to be so much content in this Patreon. You guys are going to absolutely love it. If you used to be a member, there's never been a better time to jump back in. We've got a ton of archived content, new offerings on the way. And like I said, you get discount codes, giveaways, and so much more. We're hanging out in the member Discord every single day. You can chill with me, smoke up with the guests of the show and the moderators. Got some really cool stuff going on. Plus, member meetups and events in your area with Growmies local to you. So don't miss out. It's growcastpodcast.com/membership. Tons of bonus content, access to me and the community, discounts, and more. Check it out. You'll love it. And I hope to see you there soon, everybody. I got a question for Doug.
Sure.
Are you like adept in reading research papers and things like that? That's like part of your job, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to read literatures and whatnot, and I work with a professor here that some of your audience may hear of up in a university here called Simon Fraser University. I work with Dr. Zamir Panja. He's quite well known in this industry,
Right.
especially on pathogens on cannabis.
That is so cool. I love going over research papers and stuff, and it's something we're trying to do live on stream more often. So I'd love to just pick your brain sometime. Is there anything you're immersed in right now? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but any like research that you're currently really deep diving into?
I am. We're as I said, biopesticides. It's my passion. It's a passion of mine. So we're obviously working on something here as well too. I'm not gonna go into go into detail about it.
Yes.
But in a few months you might hear something from us. But yeah, working on an exciting biopesticide here, and also working with Dr. Panja a little bit on another a problem that might be popping up, which is the hops latent viroid that's been hitting the industry in different places.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been really affecting California. But yeah, hop latent viroid is a big deal. So it's something that we're always researching and keeping our eyes on, and Dr. Zamir is helping us look into.
That's really cool. Is there anything that you can tell us about that? You don't have to go too deep here, but these viroids really interest me. Like you said, they're devastating the genetics.
They are.
California there were some tests that showed over 50% of the genetics that they tested at random had this disease. Some of the disease causes this dudding to happen where your plant just doesn't frost up. It just doesn't create trichomes. It doesn't do what it needs to do.
Yeah,
that's correct.
That's correct. I mean, obviously there are no current magic solution for that.
No cure.
No cure.
Not yet.
The key is to keep everything sanitized,
Yes.
and sanitize. Keep it clean.
And test. If I work with a lot of growers, either home-based or commercial-based. And the main thing that I would say is if you have the capability and the financial feasibility, test your clones, test your seeds. They're now finding that hop latent can live in seeds for years. And it's not as simple as washing the seeds, like it is inside them. So whether you're getting clones or seeds, make sure that you're doing so from a really trusted source. From a commercial standpoint, if you're able to audit that company that you're getting it from, do that wherever possible and send them off for testing as well. Like if you see something, isolate it immediately. And again, if it's possible, send it off for testing to a trusted lab and see what you get back and go from there. I mean, sanitation and testing are the two main things that you can do, not to cure it, but to control it.
That's freaking great advice. And you're right, that one little test, especially if you're going to pay some big buck price tag for one of these hype strains because they're nice and you know, you smoked it and it was nicer. Now you're going to pay 3-4 figures for this cut. Make sure you're not bringing in hop latent thyroid.
And I'll say as well, like if you have a strain like that, I mean, I know it's expensive and I know there's a lot of challenges in the industry right now, but if you have like a rock star genetic that is doing really, really well for you, back it up. Whether that be through tissue culture or some other way, make sure that you have a copy of that in your bank so that if something horrible does happen, you still have that genetic. And, you know, tissue culture can take up to 12 to 18 months to get that back. So don't wait until you have an issue. Start it as soon as you can. And then you have that backup should something happen.
Well said, Leanne. That's exactly right. It's a really good piece of advice because a lot of the home growers out there, that's the whole point of this thing. Like the whole pheno hunting, botany of desire, finding these strains that work for us and please us and express the way we want them to. You've got to back that up once you've got it. Put it in a bank, spread it to all your gromies, do whatever you can to proliferate those genetics. Make a bunch of S1s so that maybe one day you could hunt through those and find it again years down the road. Fucking excellent advice. Very excellent advice, Leanne. Now, you guys said keep it clean, though. Let's talk about mistakes that growers make when it comes to cleanliness. Again, this is jumping around a little bit, but I know you guys talk with a lot of growers. You work with a lot of growers. Where are we being dirty little grubby growers when we should be more clean?
I mean, just being careful of where you are in your facility and what you're touching. I mean, specifically when we're talking about hop latent, it can spread in so many different ways. It can spread through your trimmers.
Exactly.
It can spread through water, actually. Yeah. So if you're using a recirculating system, you might want to add something in there to prevent that spreading throughout your recirculating system when you're sharing water between plants. I mean, High Clean itself isn't a disinfectant, but what it can do is help keep your lines clean so that you avoid buildups and avoid pests being drawn to those buildups because there's research starting to come out now that it might also be spreading via pests. I mean, if you think about those sucking and piercing insects, it makes a lot of sense that when they're piercing that cell wall, they're going to be spreading that as well, right? So just in general, being careful and being mindful and being aware of what you are touching in your facility and where you're going before and after.
Yeah. That's not only for hop latent thyroid, right? But also for in general insects and pathogen that if you're not careful, you could bring in an insect or bring in something from a visit somewhere that you're not aware of, right? So that's just being careful and make sure you sanitize before you go into your into the room and things like that. And then same thing when you visit other facilities.
Yeah, visiting other facilities is a big one. If you're going in there, I mean, I would highly recommend if you really, really trust that facility and you trust that grower and you trust that it's a clean, sterile, good facility, that's okay. But if you might have some questions about it, I mean, I wouldn't be going back into my facility after visiting someone else's if I'm not 100% sure that, they're clean and clear.
Right.
So, yeah.
Or working your schedule around that at least. So being mindful of the vectors, physical contact, media contact, water contact. And then, like you said, scheduling your day. Like your grow tent should not be the last thing that you visit unless you hop in the shower before you visit that grow tent. You know what I mean? Like I like to wake up and go into my tent first thing indoors and take care of that and do all that stuff. Then I go outside into my veggie garden, go about my day, go into someone else's grow. And before I check in at night, maybe hop in the shower. So I think you're saying be mindful of vectors and then also your schedule, your SOPs, as people like to say. Doug, I bet you that I bet you that the cleanliness standards in your biopesticide facility was probably a little different than the average home grower or my home grow. We tend to do things a little bit less clean.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a home grow and you're just kind of testing things out, I mean, it's a lot less serious.
Yeah, the supervisor doesn't care so much. Yeah. The supervisor's on break because the supervisor's me.
Exactly. So, I mean, like you have a little bit more leeway that you can kind of play around with. I mean, I think the things that we're talking about when we talk about SOPs and all of that and visiting other facilities is more from a commercial standpoint. But I mean, still, like you said, if you have a veggie grow, veggies also have pathogens and pests as well. So be mindful even then of kind of, where you're going and
bring in
what
some
you
frips,
might be spreading.
Bring in some extra company.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, guys, this hour flew by. There's one question here that is on the list that I really wanted to address, which is, let's say we're using these products. We're using Hygrozyme. We're using all the good stuff. What are some other ways that we can maximize biology in our garden, keep all those beneficials happy? What have you seen growers do that work with your products to help maximize them?
I've had people have really good results with worm castings. I think a couple months ago was the first time I've ever been asked if our products were worm safe. And we've since discovered that they are fairly worm safe.
For sure. Yeah. I'd be surprised.
Yeah. So that's something that you can add. Compost teas, like I said, if you mix up a compost tea like once a week, that can be a really, really nice boost to your garden. Yeah, being mindful of the quality of the mediums. I mean, there's a million different cocoa out there. There's a million different types of soil. There's a million different types of everything. But I mean, there is something to be said about the quality of those mediums. And, the higher the quality, the more beneficial microbes and things are going to be in there to begin with, and that'll only boost your growth.
And the nutrition, right? Like you said, if you start with a subpar soil and you're expecting these microbes to unlock minerals that aren't there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, just again, like pests and pathogens and random things that might be in that soil in general. I mean, if you're getting your soil off the back of some guy's truck,
yes,
if that's what you want to do, I don't judge, but you might be adding some things in there that you weren't quite expecting.
A little bit of roulette, the soil truck guy, sometimes you're going to hit it out of the park with that run. Other times you're going to have root aphids. Next thing you know, you got a bunch of root aphids.
Exactly.
Well, this was an awesome exploration, you guys. I appreciate you coming on, talking about your product line. I appreciate you offering the samples. That's at Hygrozyme on Instagram and also at Hygrozyme Leanne, right? Isn't that yours personally?
Yeah, that's mine personally. You can always reach out to me there. There's also a contact form on our website, hygrozyme.com. You can send us an email there. Those mostly end up with me as well. So yeah, feel free to reach out to us. If you have any questions, you can get at us there as well. We're very active, very responsive, and always willing to answer questions and help people out. So hope to hear from some of your audience soon.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Go ahead and send them a message, guys. If you like this episode, if you want to get in on that sample pack, send them a message. Tell them that you heard them here. Now, Doug, can we find you on social media or can we just find you in the lab?
You probably find me in the lab, but I do. I'm in constant communication with the sales and marketing team. They get a lot of the feedback, or questions, and so I work with them in terms of a response to address any particular issues that say the grower may have.
Awesome. So if you guys need to hear from Doug, you go ahead and send that message. They'll relay him down in the belly works, in the lab, in the skunk works, literally. And listen, man, this was a great episode. Doug, Leanne, I appreciate you so much. You guys hit it out of the park. Where else can we find you? Website, everything you want to say before we wrap up this lovely episode.
We mentioned the website, our Instagram. You can also find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. A lot of our great videos, like our hard water test that we mentioned, our tissue test, some information about the products, that's all available on YouTube as well. And if you want to meet up with us in person, we're at multiple trade shows throughout Canada and the US throughout the year. The next one that we're going to be at is MJ Biz in Vegas. So if you're there, come stop by, find us, say hi. And like I said, we're everywhere.
When's BizCon? I forgot about BizCon.
November. End of November, I think.
November. Yeah, I think it's the 29th or 30th of November into the beginning of December.
Okay. All right. We'll see if we can swing it. Listen, you guys keep doing God's work. We love it. We love the enzyme products. Now the new Hygrozyme dropping. We'll keep our eyes peeled for all the good stuff. Thank you for deep diving into your products, for teasing us about some upcoming products, and for giving us good garden advice. We appreciate you too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
And thank you, dear listener. I appreciate you, especially you supporting members. You mean the world to me. See everything we're doing at growcastpodcast.com. You know the drill. And stay tuned, everybody. Would love to see you in membership. But I'll be here regardless every Monday, helping you in your grow. So this is Team Hygrozyme, Leanne and Doug, and Jordan River signing off, saying be safe out there, everybody, and grow smarter. That's our show. Thank you so much. I appreciate Team Hygrozyme for coming on, and I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning into this show. We've got tons of bonus content at growcastpodcast.com/membership. Consider giving it a try there. We're adding a bunch of new member benefits. Check out everything we're doing at growcastpodcast.com. You'll find the seeds up there. We got classes. You know how it is. We got some big classes coming in 2024. Don't miss out Nova Cup. That's right. Nova Cup is November 11th. That is in Northern Virginia. I will be emceeing. Shout out to Cannabreeze Hemp. You need to go to cannabreezehemp.com. Grab those tickets today. Grab them before they're gone. Cannabreeze Hemp. I'll see you, Washington, D.C. Gromies and Northern Virginia Gromies, November 11th at Cannabreeze Hemp Nova Cup. That's the last event of the year. And stay tuned for some dope updates. Like I said, going to the islands, doing some content out there, a little pheno hunt, and then we're back to the mainlands, baby. Don't touch that dial. I'll be working hard for all you listeners and especially you members. Thank you so much to the members. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
It's a secret.
Yeah.